Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show, home improvement and maintenance tips from the pros.
Welcome to the Handyman Pros Radio Show Action Edition, where we feature today an item in the news. And I'm here with my old buddy Larry. What's been going on?
Well, John, this week I put in a couple of Ring doorbells, and we've seen a trend. Would you call it a trend? We've been putting a lot of these things up. At least I have.
How many of these things have we been putting up?
A bunch.
A lot.
And you found an article in the news, and John's a tech guy, folks. If you don't know that, John worked, 30 years or 33 years in tech? Take it away, buddy, because this is sort of got me kind of scared, you know? Yeah.
On my busy schedule, as I was thumbing through the trade rags, as I always, nothing better to do, Woo! So I came across an article in Electrical Contractor magazine, and it's an article I'll give credit where credit's due here by Deborah O'Mara, and it just came out in the end of May, and one of the things is research that the let's call it the explosion of all these things known as the IoT, the Internet of Things. Everything seems to be getting attached to the internet through Wi-Fi, whatever. You're getting all kinds of things. So our little tip here today in the news is kind of a two-part thing. So the first part is all the hackers and all the hacking that's going on with all these devices, and namely, it's what they found is. The research shows that there's like 23 billion of these things are going to be connected by 2026. And I'm not just talking doorbells. I'm talking about all kinds of things. You can imagine. I mean, everything from light bulbs to doorbells to,
dishwashers,
washing
machines. It's like, really? Okay, whatever. Anyway.
So, let's get to the chase here. And that is that they tested 11 doorbells that they purchased online. And, They found serious cybersecurity gaps and weaknesses. And we bring this up is because, when we led into this, we talked about how many of these things we're putting up. And folks, you just need to understand. And I think we did a little tip on this before, having the vulnerabilities of these things. And it's just things like unencrypted data communication to servers, storage of all your video and audio. Your Wi-Fi authentication issues. They're talking about the excess in data collection and just weak password policies that these manufacturers are using to get into these. So, they're recommending that it's always use two-factor authentication. And that is, before anything happens, right, they send you like a little code
right.
on your phone, and then you punch in the code. So even if somebody knew your password, they couldn't get that code. Change passwords, all the time, and then, keep your software updated because there's all kinds of fixes that go through these software updates. But,
so I have a question. So
yes.
what? So what? Like, so they can get into my camera. What's the significance of that, John?
Well, the significance is, once they get into that, and the thing is that can happen is kind of what's termed as the man-in-the-middle attack.
Yep.
Once you get into that, you can plant either software or you can redirect that to some nefarious type of activity. So now you're into my network on my computer system. And let the fun begin, right?
Right.
And you can't believe what people can do. Okay. I've dealt with this a lot in business on some of these companies that deal with this. They're white hat hackers and things like that. That you can't believe what can take place. But this article, and I'll go ahead and post this article as well. But it's by a guy's name is Vince. Chrysler, if I'm pronouncing that right. And he's the founder of this. He's the CEO of this place called Darkcube. Now, he was the chief information security officer for the White House. And, he's talking about people don't understand the magnitude of the problem, that you need to have at least two-factor authentication is required, at a minimum. And here's a good tip. In addition, users need to pay attention to the apps they are using to access these systems and permissions the software is requesting. Okay, so when you put a new application on your phone or something, it'll say, "Can I have access to your microphone? Can I have access to your pictures?" It's not too far of a stretch to for things to start to creep into all your files, the locations, passwords, all these kind of things that can happen. So once people have that, then they can get into your system, and all kinds of activity starts to happen.
So one of the other things, we talked about this one time before, about one of the other things is that so these are fairly sophisticated hackers, we'll call them, but I want to reiterate the fact, and we had talked about this in a previous show, but I want to reiterate the fact that even just your cameras, even if they can just log into your feed, folks, they're going to, a criminal, a guy that's just looking to break into your house, he gets to know your patterns. And
absolutely.
And he knows that I know with COVID it's a little less prominent, but folks, we're creatures of habit. We tend to do the same things at the same times. And when somebody knows you're not going to be there from, 8 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon or whatever your particular habits are, you're a target. And that's where we're going with this. And then along with these man-in-the-middle attacks, which start getting into trying to find out what your financial software, how to access your bank accounts and all of that kind of thing. Then we get into even more stuff. I guess the question, what the purpose of these articles is close the door. That's what it is. Close the door.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And what he's mentioning here is that the weak password that for to get into these things, that they don't really require some more sophisticated type of methods to access these.
Right. So
and a lot of people now they'll give you that option, but a lot of people don't take that option, like that two-factor authentication. So it's it's that kind of thing that you want to go that extra step, because it stops this from happening. And Larry's right. Once people get in, then they have access to all kinds of things. These doorbells are. Or even your security cameras inside your house are, got
whatever.
Video, audio.
Yeah.
All kinds of things going on.
And we're not trying to make you paranoid. The next thing we might be so this was a twofer. We told you this was a twofer.
Yeah,
Johnny, tell them about the next one.
So the next one I just found. Okay, I stumbled on this, and this comes out of a site called The Verge. It's kind of a tech blog place. And Amazon's coming out with something new called Sidewalk. And if you don't know what that is, you need to know what it is. Sidewalk, it goes along with what we just talked about. And that is, if you own, so what is Sidewalk? If you own like an Echo Dot, these things like an Amazon Echo, a Ring floodlight cam, what this is going to do is it's meant to extend the range of these low bandwidth, what they're calling low bandwidth devices. So if your network goes down, for example, your Dot can piggyback on your neighbors. Let me pause right there. That means that, if your network goes down, your Dot or some of these devices are now going to be able to connect to your neighbors, and you start to share other networks. Well, can you imagine what's going to happen here?
That's not good for me, John, because I'm borrowing my neighbor's internet now. Oh, wait. Did I just say that? No, I'm kidding.
Right. Yeah, the full thing. You got the cable strung.
I got everything. I wish he'd change off AT&T TV. I'm just saying,
So, and it's other things such as, these tile devices, these tracking devices can use, that can use this whole network. So you can imagine if you're using one of these tile devices, walking around a neighborhood, and you're out of range of your own tile or another tile, that it's starting to connect automatically to everybody's house that you're going by, whether it be some of these Amazon devices and things like that. This is incredible to me. And you're going to have to opt out of this.
Yeah, it kind of aggravates me, because it really is. It's not it. So for me, we're trying to save you time, money, and aggravation, right? So this is a money issue. If I'm paying for internet myself, why am I going to support my neighbor? Now, folks, I'm kidding. I have my own internet service, and when I say that, but I mean there are people who will try to scam your internet, and this is one of those. This is being done without your. Would we say it's not without your knowledge, John? I don't know if that's quite right, but
well, just by having this article out there, is everybody will know about it now.
Provided you read the article.
The thing is, let's back up to the first thing we were just talking about is the tip. Hacking. Right. Now, if I hack into one, I could
hack into the neighborhood.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's exactly where I was going with this. So I know they're going to say that's impossible and all. They're going to give you all that, but you know what, folks? You're gonna, what happens at some, 3 months from now after this thing comes out, they're like, yeah, we got an issue here, folks. So the Sidewalk's going to get switched on this coming June 8th. Okay, so I don't know when we're going to post this. I'll try to get this out as fast as possible. And the tile functionality will be enabled June 14th. So, folks, if you know what the tile is, like I just said, it's a tracker device. Apple just came out with one called AirTags, and they're like the size of, a $50 or a quarter, and you can drop them into, your wallet or whatever, and you can always find your wallet. You can stick them on, your pets, and always find your pet on a map and all these kind of things. It's kind of cool, but also it's kind of nefarious, for all you young girls out there that have crazy boyfriends, these guys could be dropping these things in purses, who knows.
John, what about old guys that are doing things they're not supposed to do? It's the same way.
Exactly.
Don't be.
Exactly. So there's a whole list of these devices. And if you don't have one of these devices, and let me just quickly run through them. They're the Ring floodlight cams, the spotlight cams, the Echoes, the Echo Dots, these things for kids, these Echo Dots for kids, the Echo Plus, the shows, spots and studios, and Echo Input, and all. I don't know. I don't really have these things, but if you do have one of these, you can go into your Amazon Alexa app and go through the select more icon in the lower right, and you'll see it, the little hamburger looking thing, and expand that, and then go to settings and account settings and go to Amazon Sidewalk and opt out. And it's if you don't have one of these devices and you go into the Amazon Alexa app, the Amazon Sidewalk won't be in there. But if it is, just know that it's going to be opted in until you opt out. So to me, this is combined the first part of this with second part. We're kind of giving you the heads up on what the potential here of what's taking place. So. As I read this, I was like, "Yeah, this is probably not a good trend right here." So,
Johnny, you know how I keep a hold of my wallet?
True. Yeah, the moths come out of it. You can never open that.
That's your wallet, and you know it. Your biggest threat to your wallet is the moths are going to pick it up and carry it off. They're so used to.
Nobody's getting in there.
No, Johnny, my wallet's chained to my belt. Come on, you know better than that.
And your dog. So he really did come from the hills. So,
but anyway,
so anyways, that's what I wanted to bring out as I saw this. So hope this helps everybody. Bring a little bit of shine a little bit of a light on what's happening here.
Well, yeah, it's so these are things that in our world of home maintenance and things like that are just. I look at this as a couple of things. I just don't think that we need to have personal opinion, folks, and you're welcome to do what you want. But I really don't need my dishwasher or my washing machine attached to the internet for any reason that I can figure out yet. And maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see the need for it. I really don't like the idea of Amazon, trying to set my home up along with everybody else's as this big network to do. I don't really understand what the purpose of it is. It'll be interesting to see how it's sold to us. As they say, it's all about the sales, right? Because somebody's got money to be made here, or they wouldn't do this stuff. At least that's my opinion. And so I just, and I don't know. I try to be a fairly, I want to be safe, you know, and some of this stuff just doesn't make me feel safer. While I do understand the idea of interlocking, particularly like Ring doorbells and things in areas, you know, so the police can access it, and if somebody breaks into a home, they can track the person out of a particular area, and all of that's good. But then the flip side of that is that the bad guys can do the same thing. So I like it and I don't like it. I'm really torn on some of these devices, but as we go farther and farther down this road, we just want you to be aware that this stuff is happening and that it's out there, right? It's out there. And John definitely has much more of a tech background than I do. You know, my big idea on tech is, well, I got the electric to work. There we go. But, you know, it is what it is.
Back to the toaster.
Yeah, well, the toaster, you know, I love my toaster. And I love my crock pot. What can I say? Anyway. Folks, with that, don't forget to join our Facebook group. That's at Handyman Pros, and you can send us an email also, questions at Handyman Pros Radio Show. If you do enjoy us, please tell your friends and neighbors. We would really appreciate it. Send them a link, let them listen to us, and all of that good fun stuff. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, send us an email. Let us know. You want to hear something on a show, let us know. We will do it. Now, we've done several things. We've even taken some stuff from some of our listeners and put that out on the air, and we've called out a couple of our listeners and said thanks for doing that. So anyway, with all of that said, folks, thanks for listening once again. We will see you next week on the Handyman Pros Radio Show.